Weather Service in Raleigh. It's Nick Petro with your weekly briefing here on this Friday, the 5th of July. This addresses the weather for central North Carolina. And normally we do these on Mondays and Thursdays, and then we typically do them the day after a holiday. So anyway, just for folks who couldn't join us during the holidays. So here we are on Friday as we head into the weekend, and we got a lot of weather to deal with, heat and rain. Ironically, the two of those are interesting hazards, but let's just jump right into it, and you'll see how this is all going to evolve. You may have noticed, or if not, here's your heads up that there is an excessive heat warning in effect for a big part of central and eastern North Carolina here, particularly in the northeast part of the state. And you'll see that the areas colored in pink are the excessive heat warning, and that sort of orange peach color is the heat advisory. Where you see the pink, the excessive heat warning, that means we're expecting heat index values of 110. And everywhere else you see the advisory, we're expecting heat index values of 105. So obviously this is deadly level potentially deadly heat if for folks that overexert themselves in this heat. Make sure, I mean, we can't emphasize it enough, to drink plenty of water, stay in air-conditioned rooms, stay out of the sun, and check on relatives and neighbors. This level of heat can affect anyone without effective cooling and or adequate hydration. So this is probably one of the hottest days of the summer. It's not very often that we issue excessive heat warnings. So this is a rare level of heat. So keep that in mind. Real quick, I just wanted to show you, just to put this into context, what the current heat index values are. This is actually air temperatures. This is ambient temperatures. This is not heat index. This is the actual real temperature. So we're already climbing through the upper 80s and into the 90s as we put heat index on here. Look at these heat index values. Yeah, we're talking already heat index values in the low 100s. There's a 105 at Raleigh, 106 down there near Garner, 107 southwest of Sanford, Pinehurst 105. So you could see lots of heat. Clinton 106. So those are heat index values. So keep in mind 108 there up in Warren County. So clearly a lot of heat. So definitely take the necessary precautions. If you want to follow along today, if you want to just kind of follow along and watch these heat index values, the easiest way to get to this map is if you go to, remember, if it's weather you love, it's weather.gov. So that's the easy website to remember, right? If I can type in my browser here, stand by here, weather.gov, right? You start off here, you click on Central North Carolina, that takes you to the National Weather Service Raleigh page. And then under current conditions, don't left click it, just mouse over current conditions. And then go down and mouse over observations map and then left click it. And that'll take you to this page where then you can go up to boundaries and then turn on your borders, states and counties is what I like to do, and then go under observations, and then you could change it to ambient temperature, so it just shows temperature, or heat index for heat index values. If you want to throw other layers on there, such as warnings, you can post the warnings on there and see where the excessive heat warnings are versus the heat advisory. And then finally, radar, you can turn that on as well, see where it's raining, see if there's any rain relief headed your way, and a whole suite of other types of products. So anyway, weather.gov. All right, back to our slides here, and let's go to the next slide to show you how we think this will evolve. I just picked some selected cities, and you can see on the left is the temperature forecast, and on the right is the heat index. And you can see we're going to be in that dark red shade right there through the afternoons. We're already hitting 100 plus for heat index across many locations, and we're going to be 100 to 110 right through the afternoon for pretty much all of central North Carolina. The areas in the excessive heat warning will be closer to to 110, and places in the heat advisory will be closer to 105. And you can see things are still hot, heat index wise, well into the evening. Look at that, 9 p.m. and we still have we're still expecting to have heat index values in the mid 90s. We don't drop out of the 90s for heat index until after 10 p.m., believe it or not. So yeah, what an uncomfortable day. So definitely take precautions. All right, so what about those rain opportunities that I mentioned earlier? And basically this is a simulation that shows when the scattered showers and isolated showers and thunderstorms may develop, and it's really just going to be hit and miss. Don't take this as exactly how it's going to happen, right? If you're up in Falls Lake at 2 p.m., don't be surprised if there is, or don't be surprised if there isn't a storm there. The point of these maps is just to show you that there could be isolated showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, pretty much anywhere across central North Carolina at any point during the afternoon and evening, not very organized. In fact, I would even go as far as saying as most places will stay dry. There is a little bit of a trend, though, as you get up towards the Triad and up near the Virginia border. It seems like that's where the better concentration of these isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms will be. So if you're north of Raleigh, if you're in the Triad and points north and west, yeah, you're probably going to have a little better chance to see a shower or thunderstorm, which could provide relief to that heat. But if you're down near Wadesboro, Laurinburg, Pinehurst, Fayetteville, Albemarle, you're probably going to stay dry and just stay hot all day long. Okay, so that's the point of this map here. All right, so looking at the rest of the weekend, we're setting up for a somewhat unsettled weather pattern for the weekend. Okay, obviously before we get there, heat will be the main weather story for today, the isolated storms that I mentioned, but rain chances are going to increase for Saturday. In fact, isolated flash flooding is possible where storms are slow moving or repetitive. But where it's dry, it'll still be hot though. So even though we are expecting a pretty decent coverage of showers and storms tomorrow, where it isn't raining, you're going to see heat index values eclipsing 100. So don't be surprised if you see heat advisories for tomorrow, but you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, how could you have a heat advisory when you're expecting a lot of rain? Well, the idea is if it ain't raining, or times it's not raining, or where the rain hasn't gotten to yet, the heat will certainly climb and climb fast. So that's the point there. And then as we go through next week, it's somewhat more of a typical summertime pattern with the afternoon and evening thunderstorms each day. So maybe there'll be some relief to the dry conditions as we head through the next 7 days, but certainly tomorrow offers a decent chance for that. In fact, this is the storm, talking too fast here, sorry about that, Storm Prediction Center, Severe Thunderstorm Outlook. And you'll notice the little darker shade of green there from basically north and west of Raleigh. And the point of that is today, if we do get a thunderstorm in the darker green areas, there could be a damaging wind gust, very isolated. It could be a gusty thunderstorm, okay? So keep that in mind. All right, so that's where the best chance for any sort of severe storms may be. But again, that's going to be very isolated. Now look at tomorrow. Look how you'll notice, oh gosh, I messed up the days here. So let me just on the fly here, change this to Saturday, and this would be Sunday. All right, just so everybody's on the same page here, including me. And this is Tuesday, right? A little production here on the fly. Thanks for bearing with me on that. Look at Saturday, and you could see that we are expecting quite a bit of rain right down the center of the state. So, and then same story on Sunday, and then more scattered in nature Monday and Tuesday. So there could be, upwards of 1.5 inches or more of rain during the next 5 days. All right, so as we look at the 7-day total, this is the 7-day total. And, I'm hoping this is the case because we got a lot of dry spots, and I'll show you in the drought outlook here coming up, but it's dry and we need this rain. All right. This is the excessive rainfall outlook, which shows kind of a sense of what the risk for flash flooding is. And again, the point is there's a risk for isolated to scattered flash flooding with any of the slow moving or repetitive thunderstorms over the next 3 days. And that risk will be mainly confined to the Triad region today, and then all of central North Carolina Saturday and Sunday. And you know what? I think maybe now's a good time to show it, but I have a loop. This is a radar simulation for today right through tomorrow. And I know it's kind of faded up here, but in the upper right, you'll see the timestamp and the valid time. Okay, so right there, it's kind of hard to see, but that says Friday, July 5th, 2024, 9 a.m. Now, as I hit the play button, you can see how we're expecting showers and thunderstorms to evolve. But the one thing I want to draw your attention to, and I'm going to stop this loop right here, I'm going to fast forward, right? So this is overnight tonight, mainly rain free. But as we get to the daytime tomorrow, this is 10 a.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. Saturday, 12 p.m. Saturday, 1 p.m. Saturday, 2 p.m. Saturday, 3 p.m. Saturday, 4 p.m. Saturday, 5 p.m. Saturday. Okay, look how, like, I'm going to back up now. Look how between like 11 and 2, look how between 11 and 2, the storms just kind of really blossom over, particularly over the Piedmont. Okay, and then they continue to develop eastward. Okay, now you'll notice there's a lot of dry areas from I-95 eastward, and those are the places that are most likely going to see those 105 heat indices. Again, we're talking about tomorrow. But west of I-95, particularly from Raleigh westward, there could be some repetitive showers and thunderstorms. And if this does come to pass, you know, folks who are, say, in, I don't know, Rockingham, Sanford, Asheboro, Durham, Greensboro, Roxboro, Henderson, you know, you might be thinking, man, it's a wet day today, right? And tomorrow, that is. But I just wanted to point that out, look how it just blossoms everywhere here during the early afternoon on Saturday, okay? So that's why we have this flash flood concern for tomorrow across all of central North Carolina, all right? Okay, what about the tropics? There's Beryl there moving across the Yucatan. No tropical concerns for central North Carolina for at least the next 7 days. And then here's that drought update. This is fairly fresh, just came out. And you'll notice that a good chunk of the state, a good chunk of central North Carolina is a D1 moderate drought. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we can put a dent in this, particularly tomorrow and this weekend, but we'll see. All right, and then the 8 to 14 day temp outlook, again, more of the same, above normal temperatures, odds tilting towards above normal precip, which we could use given this last slide I just showed you. And then finally, the experimental graphical hazardous weather outlook. Basically, we're highlighting, you know, the severe thunderstorm potential today across the western portions of the state, marginal. Thunderstorm winds would be the main threat where there are severe storms. And then lightning threat is pretty much every day through the next 7 days. Excessive rainfall, again, this weekend. And then excessive heat's the main story. This is gonna, you know, we're locked into this air mass. So today will probably be the worst day. Tomorrow will be pretty bad, particularly along and east of I-95, maybe east of Raleigh. And then the typical heat, elevated heat risk there Sunday through basically next week. All right, so putting a wrap on this. Again, for the rest of today, hot with the risk for isolated showers, maybe a stray thunderstorm this afternoon and evening. Dangerously hot conditions with heat index values 105 to 110 expected. Increasing rain chances for Saturday and Sunday. Isolated flash flooding is possible where storms are slow moving or repetitive. Still hot though, where it remains dry. Again, you know, east of Raleigh tomorrow. So don't be surprised tomorrow if there's heat advisories. At the same time, we have all this rain in the forecast west of Raleigh. So keep that in mind. And then pretty typical summertime afternoon and evening thunderstorms each day next week, still hot. And then again, for the hazards and impacts, heat and flash flooding. What an interesting two different hazards. So heat when it's not raining, flash flooding where there's repetitive rain, okay? All right, so there's the numbers there for the next 5 days at least. And that is how things are shaping up. So again, be careful with the heat, and where the storms are repetitive, particularly tomorrow, there could be some isolated flash flooding. So that is your Friday update for central North Carolina as we head into into this weekend. We'll be back on Monday, same time, same place, with the normal Monday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina.